Nick Groke is beat writer for the Colorado Rockies, writes for the Denver Post, and our big story here locally, one of them certainly is Jeff Hoffman, who has been absolutely fantastic for the Rockies. Now 4-0, pitched a great game against the Cubs over the weekend with 8 strikeouts. Kid has, I think, 24 strikeouts in 4 starts, and really been pitching well, and we hope he sticks. So we're going to ask the guy who covers the Rockies to help us out on that. Nick, Roger Weiland, Chris Honorado in Albany on 104.5, the Team ESPN Radio. Good morning.
Fellas, how are you?
Doing good, Nick. Thanks for a few minutes. So where does Jeff Hoffman stand on the radar of the Rockies in terms of being a guy that's going to stick in that rotation? Because at least from our eye, he's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think he's stuck in a good way. They have a really unusual situation on their hands. The Rockies do this year. They have 4 rookie pitchers now in their starting rotation, which is completely unheard of for this team in their 25-year history. But it's working. It's working really well. The reason that they're really the number one reason why they're winning so many games right now is because of those rookie pitchers. And the last one to join the rotation this season was Jeff Hoffman. He was still getting ready. They started him in AAA to begin the year. He had a little bit more seasoning he needed in the minors, but once he got up, he's been really rather dominant. Lately, especially, and he is striking out a lot of batters. I think he has 34 strikeouts and 3 walks. I think this season, that's a K to walk ratio that they really needed right now. The other 3 rookies in the rotation who are doing really well, but they're not striking very many batters out. They really could use, Jeff Hoffman came alive really right when they needed somebody to start really striking out some batters. At some point, if you're not striking out a lot of batters, at some point hitters will catch up to you. You'll have a game where bloops fall into the gaps in the outfield. You get C&I ground balls that turn into hits. Some games those turn into double plays, and some games they turn into hits and extend an inning. So if you can get a bunch of strikeouts like Jeff Hoffman's doing, it really it can really set you in motion going forward, and that's what they're getting from him right now. And I think, to be honest, I think even when they get some of their more experienced pitchers back from injury, which will be coming up soon, I think I don't see how they can take Jeff Hoffman out of the rotation right now.
Yeah, he's been really good. So the strikeouts have been impressive. Doesn't walk many. Does he use a number of different pitches from what you've seen in terms of what he has in his repertoire and what he's been successful with in his body of work?
He is using a whole bunch of pitches. Yeah, for a long time with the Rockies, they kind of shied away from pitchers who threw curveballs in the fear that a curveball doesn't move very much at altitude playing at Coors Field. They eventually learned that that's a sort of a gross overreaction. You don't need to worry about it too much. If a breaking ball breaks less at altitude by a little bit, it should not affect how you choose pitchers who have good pitches. A good curveball still plays well. A good curveball plays, and that's what they found with Jeff Hoffman. He really, his best pitch is a fastball. He really likes to throw a fastball, but he's a curveball that he throws for strikes that this team hasn't really seen for a long time. It's a really, really effective pitch. If you can throw a fastball 96, 97, which he's capable of, and then you throw a low 80s curveball, the difference in velocity, pitch to pitch for hitters is really, really difficult to deal with. And he is mixing those pitches really, really well. And then he'll throw in a slider. He has a two-seam fastball that he mixes in too. But he has pitches that are very good pitches by themselves. But more importantly, and this is the thing that pitchers often struggle with when they first come to the big leagues, he's using them really well. He's mixing them really well. And he's not being predictable with them in certain counts, and the results are really showing well for him.
Nick Groke of the Denver Post with us here on Big Board Sports 104.5, the team, ESPN Radio. Nick, Chris Honorado with Roger here as well, and you can find Nick on Twitter, just simply at Nick Groke, Groke. We talked to local people around here in the capital region of New York, where Jeff is from, and everybody kind of always says the same thing. Yeah, but he's in Coors. And by the way, I mean, it's not like Rogers Center would have treated him all that better had he stayed with the Blue Jays. But is that an overblown thing now in 2017 nationally, where maybe people in Colorado within the organization are saying, look, pitchers can have, really good success even here at Coors?
Yeah, no, you can succeed at Coors Field for sure. You have to be a good pitcher. That's number one. And number two is you do have to have a little bit more mental fortitude. You have to understand that you will have innings at Coors Field when dumb bloop hits that should be outs in other ballparks turn into hits. I mean, the outfield is enormous. There are, the home runs are less really an issue. On occasion, you'll see a Coors Field home run, a fly ball that just keeps carrying. Those aren't as hurtful as the bloop hits, because you give up one double and then two bloop hits, and all of a sudden you're down 2 runs in an inning. It's supremely frustrating. Like, those, you should have been out of that inning in another ballpark, but really you just gave up 2 singles. But you have to get over it. It happens. It also happens to the opposing pitcher too. So the biggest sort of jump for pitchers coming into Coors Field is you just have to let it slide, man. You just don't worry about it. A 2-run inning will not kill you, because your team can hit well enough to get you 2 runs back. And if you're not winning 2-1 games or 3-2 games, then you're winning them 4-3 or 5-4. It still works. All you need to do is win the game. So just pitch your game and you'll get through.
And, man, this Rockies team can hit. I mean, we talked a lot about the Yankees. Like, Colorado is in places where nobody would have projected at the beginning of the year, the same way, Raj, we've talked about with the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, and then I'll ask Nick, is this the team that's going to be there till the end? I mean, are you surprised at the success, win-losses here and where the Rockies are at this point in the season?
I'm a little bit surprised. They're getting it done. They're a pretty solid team through and through, and they're winning on the road, which has always been really difficult for them. But they're much better on the road than they are at Coors Field. In the National League, the Washington Nationals are really good, and the Dodgers are really good. And I believe by record right now, by winning percentage, the Rockies are ahead of both of them. After that, and then maybe after the Diamondbacks, there's a whole bunch of other teams in the NL. So at least right now, especially compared to competition, the competition that might settle into a wild card race, the Rockies look to be in pretty good shape going forward. Yeah.
Nick, we appreciate a few minutes here in Albany. A lot of coverage for Jeff Hoffman for sure, and we hope it continues. And if you next time you interview Jeff, tell him that Roger and Chris and everybody on 104.5 the team ESPN Radio in Albany said hello.
I will. Do I need a duck when I do it?
No, should be all right. Should be all right. It's pretty much been nothing but positive for Jeff Hoffman.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, fellas.